Hello and welcome to Warhammer Joey's mini magical series, and you chose the Law of Life. So let's get going with this, shall we? The Law of Life attribute is Life Bloom, which when you successfully cast a life spell, it allows you to recover 1 wound from the wizard or another friendly model, which is handy, really. The signature spell is Earthblood, which you can always drop down to if you don't want any of the other spells that you roll for, and it's an augment spell that allows a 5+ regeneration save until the next magic phase, which is always helpful if, you know, your whole army doesn't really have any armour. So the first spell is a cast on 6, and it's a cheeky direct damage spell called Awakening of the Woods, and within a range of 18 inches it casts 1d6 strength 4 hits, but if they're in anywhere near the woods it's 2d6. Always keep the woods handy, always. Flesh to Stone is an augment spell. It's a cast on 8 and it's within a range of 24, adds 2 toughness to a unit until the next magic phase. So this is helpful for either really toughening up a strong guy, like my tree man for example, or, you know, helping the weaker units out a bit if they're faced in close combat, which they might not be very good for. Throne of Vines is a cast on 8 and this remains in play the whole game. So it's an augment spell that's cast upon the wizard, so anytime the wizard does a spell and does a miscast, which is bad, and he gets to roll an extra dice, so on a 2+, he gets to save his bacon basically, and it buffs all the other spells that are going to be cast in other turns, like Earthblood, Flesh to Stone, and it's a pretty handy spell. Shield of Thorns is a cast on 9+, and it does exactly what it says on the tin. It's an augment spell with a range of 24 that at the end of the magic phase, any enemy in base to base contact suffers 2d6 strength 3 hits. So another helpful spell. Regrowth is a cast on 12+. Now it's got this big wall of text here, if you can see. But what it basically does is it's an augment spell with a range of 24. The target unit instantly recovers d3 plus 1 wounds worth of models slain earlier in the battle. And the rest of it is descriptions of the order and things that you do to line up. But that's the basics of what the spell does. Very handy if you've lost a big portion of a unit and you want to start regaining some of your guys back. So use this one. I liked it. The Dwellers Below, cast on 18, my personal favourite, and I used it in my last battle quite a bit. The description of it here says gnarled creatures emerge from the ground, their steely strong fingers tearing at the foe's flesh, dragging them down to who knows what fate. Sounds a bit grim. But it's a direct damage spell with a range of 12. Every model in the target unit must pass a strength test. So Morgan Treeman, for example, quite a strong guy, is going to look at something like that and just stand on them and walk away. But if you've got not a great amount of strength, you're a bit screwed by this one. So, my personal favourite. So the Law of Life for Wood Elves is definitely beneficial where we're currently lacking at the moment, and where I feel that we don't have great close combat and not a lot of armour. There's some real defensive and offensive things that are really helpful for me as a defensive player. So I love it. Dwellers is brilliant, and that's what I've got to say about the Law of Life. I'm going to do another lore video maybe tomorrow. Let me know in the comments below which one you'd want to see next. Bloody Life Bloom.